Our top story comes from Ukraine, Bucha. Who is the real barbarian of Bucha? Well, as Ukraine and Russia continue to trade charges, India Today's report from Bucha resonated in the Indian Parliament.
Streets strewn with corpses. Bodies buried in shallow graves. Burned bodies left in the open. The grisly images of battered Bucha have sparked global outrage. Ukraine has raised the Russian brutality in Bucha at the United Nations Security Council. Kyiv has urged the UN to strip Russia of its veto power.
The
UN system must be reformed immediately so that the right of veto will not become the right of a death, so that there is a fair representation of all world regions in the Security Council.
After India Today reported the barbaric killings, New Delhi joined the world in slamming the killings. India Today report resonated in the parliament when External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar, without naming Russia, expressed deep anguish over the bloodbath, calling for an independent investigation and immediate end to hostilities.
We strongly condemn the killings which have taken place there. This is an extremely serious matter, and we support the call for an independent investigation. We encourage talks between Ukraine and Russia, including at the level of their presidents. Prime Minister has spoken to them both himself in this regard. This was precisely the message that was conveyed to Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov when he was in Delhi. If India can be of any assistance in this matter, we will be glad to contribute.
Moscow is facing global revulsion and accusations of war crimes after the Russian pullout from the outskirts of Kyiv revealed horrors inflicted on the civilian population. The UK has urged G7 to ban Russian ships and set a timetable for oil and gas exit.
On Thursday, I will be urging our NATO and G7 partners to go further in sanctions by joining us in banning Russian ships from our ports, cracking down on more Russian banks, going after industries that are filling Putin's war chest, like gold, and agreeing a clear timetable to eliminate imports of Russian oil, coal and gas.
Germany, France and Spain have expelled dozens of Russian diplomats following the Bucha killings.
I announced that this morning we have decided to expel Russian diplomats and staff from the Russian embassy in Spain, who represent a threat to the interest and security of our country.
The United States is seeking to expel Russia from the UN Human Rights Council.
Yes, the president does not believe, he believes it's ludicrous for Russia to be a member of the Human Rights Council. And certainly the ambassador spoke to this today, and while she was on her overseas trip, and she will continue to make the case in her role when she returns to New York.
Russia has rejected all the charges. Kremlin claims Bucha is a monstrous forgery aimed at maligning Russia.
The entire course of events, a huge amount of data, facts and other parameters do clearly witness that this is a forgery conducted to try and smear the Russian army. It will not work.
Russia is facing other grave charges too. The UN has accused Russia of using cluster bombs in Ukraine.
OHCHR has received credible allegations that Russian forces have used cluster munitions in populated areas at least 24 times.
Cluster munitions pose an immediate threat to civilians during a conflict. Such bombs randomly scatter sub-munitions or bomblets over a wide area. The Convention on Cluster Munitions is an international treaty that prohibits all use, transfer, production and stockpiling of cluster bombs. World leaders are calling for tougher sanctions and accountability for alleged Russian war crimes in Bucha. Bureau Report, India Today.
Meanwhile, viewers, India continues to tread its own diplomatic path in this entire mess between Russia and Ukraine. The External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar spoke in Parliament today, saying that India stands with peace, but its own interests are first.
As the Ukraine war rumbles on destructively, one of Russia's oldest allies, India, has been on constant geopolitical spotlight. Why is India going soft on Putin's invasion? Is India alleviating the impact of Western sanctions on Moscow? Why is India still buying Russian oil and weapons? Has India aligned itself in a deeply polarized world since Putin's tanks rolled into Ukraine? The answers to all these questions came when External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar put the record straight in Parliament, stating that a fearless India is charting its own course in global diplomacy.
If India has chosen a side, it is the side of peace.
Hours ago, Jaishankar had spoken to his US counterpart, Antony Blinken. In the backdrop of increasing disquiet in the West over India's indications to buy larger volumes of discounted crude oil from Russia, soon after a dire warning from the White House against buying oil or weapons from Putin. But India's message was unmistakable.
We don't believe it's in India's interest to accelerate or increase imports of Russian energy and other commodities. Right now, just to give everybody the full scope of it, India's imports of Russian energy represent only 1% to 2% of their total energy imports. So while he explained both the mechanisms of our sanctions and reiterated that any country or entity should be abiding by those, we also made clear that we'd be happy to be a partner in reducing their reliance or even their small percentage of reliance on that.
Like all countries, we too are assessing the implications and deciding what is best for our national interest. Members are aware that in a complex and globalized world, every nation takes into account the reality of interdependence. Therefore, even as they express their position in words and deeds, they also adopt policies that safeguard the well-being of their population.
It began with US Deputy National Security Advisor Dalip Singh, who made the seemingly callous, intemperate remark, lecturing India on how Russia would not step in if China escalated operations at the border. A remark that has been widely derided, including by India's former ambassador to the UN, who labeled it as coercion.
What we are seeking to do, whether it is in the context of India or other partners and allies around the world, is to do all we can to see to it that the international community is speaking in unison, speaking loudly against this unjustified, unprovoked, premeditated aggression, calling for an end to the violence.
India, as you are aware, has always been in favor of resolving differences and disputes through dialogue and diplomacy. In our meeting today, we will have an opportunity to discuss contemporary issues and concerns in some detail.
India repeatedly putting its national interest as sacrosanct, refusing to get drawn into a damaging Cold War of superpowers, turning the proverbial page in global diplomacy. Bureau Report, India Today.
Meanwhile, viewers, India has registered its first Omicron Xe case in Mumbai. This case has been detected in a fully vaccinated 50-year-old woman. The first variant of Omicron was discovered in the United Kingdom, and now it has made inroads to India expectedly. In this particular case, it's the latest Sero survey report. Mumbai civic body has said they found one case of the Xe variant and one case of Kappa variant. Of the 230 samples sent for Sero survey from patients from Mumbai, 21 were subsequently hospitalized. However, none needed oxygen. Of the 21 hospitalized, 9 had both doses of the vaccine. The rest were all unvaccinated. None of the patients who had taken their first jab had to be hospitalized. The new variant XE is a mutant hybrid of 2 versions of Omicron BA1 and BA2. It only accounts for a small fraction of cases across the globe at the moment. My colleague Sneha joins me live for Newsroom for the latest on that. How worrying should this development be, Neha?
Preeti, the fact of the matter is that Omicron was a highly transmissible variant, VOC. The lineage BA.2 was actually the most transmissible, and that was the one that drove the third wave really in India, like it did in many parts of the world. Now, and when it comes to XE, it's a recombinant. It's a combination of BA.1 plus BA.2. Recombinants are expected, is what the WHO has been saying, and it is expected to be at least 1.1 times more transmissible than BA.2, which is approximately close to 10% transmissibility as far as its comparison with BA.2 goes. So in that sense, what is worrying is that cases will increase. I don't think we have any doubt about that. But the WHO for the time being has said that there is nothing to show that this particular subtype is causing more severe infection. By and large, Omicron and its variants and its lineages, BA.1, BA.2, has not really caused severe infection in many parts of the world, barring the vulnerable population. So the same can be expected for this as well, but too early to comment on it. For the time being, this has been seen in the UK. It was first sequenced in the UK. Roughly a little more than 600 samples were sequenced where this particular sub-lineage or subtype was seen, and Thailand, also New Zealand, and now in India.
All right, appreciate you joining us, Sneha. We're going to continue coming back to you for more updates there. Well, right now, no big cause of concern is what Sneha, our reporter who's been tracking the coronavirus through the course of the last 3 years, stating out for us. I'm going to quickly move on to the other big developing story. Well, it didn't seem it could have gotten worse in the entire hijab controversy. Now, a noted terrorist has also jumped in of the Al-Qaeda. In this particular case, latest video released by Zawahiri praised Muskan Khan, a hijab-clad girl who went viral for confronting a mob of boys who were opposed to women wearing hijab. Muskan had taken on a group of students who had raised objections to her visiting the educational institute in a burqa. She had vociferously raised Allahu Akbar slogans while responding to the Jai Shri Ram chants. Zawahiri called Muskan his sister and said that he wrote a poem praising her courage. The Al-Qaeda leader also appealed to the Muslims residing in India to raise their voices on the hijab controversy. Zawahiri attacked countries like Pakistan and Bangladesh for banning hijab. Reacting to the video, the Karnataka Home Minister has said that he was shocked at this international conspiracy. Meanwhile, the hijab girl, Muskan's father, has reacted after the video, saying their family does not need support from the Al-Qaeda chief.
فكتبت هذه العبارات رغم أني لست بشاعر، فتقبلها أختنا الكريمة على ضعفها. شمخ الحجاب مكبرا لن أستكين، هتف الحجاب تعلموا مني اليقين. أنا عزة الإسلام رغم الحاقدين، أنا بنت إسلامي وعز المسلمين. أنا صرخة المظلوم ضد الظالمين وثبات مؤمنة بوجه المعتدين. أنا هبة المغصوب ضد الغاصبين. أنا نهضة المسلوب والمستضعفين.
ಇದರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ವಿಶೇಷವಾದಂಥ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟಿಗೇಷನ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಹೈಕೋರ್ಟ್ ಕೂಡ ಇದನ್ನು ಗುರುತಿಸಿತ್ತು. ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ಆ ಮಕ್ಕಳ ಮಾತುಗಳು ವರ್ತನೆಗಳು ಸಹಜವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಇದರ ಹಿಂದಕ್ಕೆ ಏನೋ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಅನ್ನಿಸ್ತಾ ಇತ್ತು. ನಾವು ಕೂಡ ಅನೇಕ ಸಾರಿ ನಾನೇ ರಿಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೆ. ಪ್ರಾಣದ ಕೈಗಳು ಅದ್ರ ಹಿಂದಕ್ಕಿದ್ದಾವೆ, ಮತಾಂಧ ಶಕ್ತಿಗಳು ಅದ್ರ ಹಿಂದಕ್ಕಿದ್ದಾವೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೆ. ಈಗ ಸಾಬೀತಾಗಿದೆ ಅದು ಇದೆ ಅಂತೇಳಿ. ನಮಗೆ ಆಶ್ಚರ್ಯ ಆಗುವಂಥದ್ದು ಇಂಟರ್ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಲೆವೆಲಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡ ಇದು ಹರಿದಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಇದನ್ನು ಬಹಳ ಗಂಭೀರವಾಗಿ ತಗೊಂಡಿದೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಕೇಂದ್ರ ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಮತ್ತು ರಾಜ್ಯ ಸರ್ಕಾರದ ಗೃಹ ಇಲಾಖೆ. ಇದನ್ನು ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟಿಗೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಅದನ್ನು ಹೊರಗೆ ತರಲಿಕ್ಕೆ, ಪತ್ತೆ ಹಚ್ಚಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಯಾರ ಲಿಂಕ್ ಇದೆ, ಇದರಿಂದ ಏನಿದೆ ಅನ್ನುವಂಥದ್ದು ಕೂಡ ಪತ್ತೆ ಹಚ್ಚುವಂಥ ಎಲ್ಲ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನಗಳು ಆಗ್ತವೆ.
is an unfortunate thing. We had repeatedly told that the behavior of the girls before and after has been changed. They have been guided by some other forces from outside. Even court had observed it. They want to use every opportunity in India to disturb the peace in the country, to create difference among the people of the country. We were telling that these girls are the scapegoat of such people.
Al-Qaeda संगठन और भारत को कोई संबंध नहीं है। वो हमारा भारत का अगेंस्ट का एक संगठन है और वो नायक जो अभी बात किया है वो अभी तक अंडरग्राउंड में थे, किधर थे, मरे या जिंदा है तो मालूम नहीं था। वो अभी भारत के बारे में बात करने का कोई इसको रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी नहीं है। ये अभी मैं पहले से बोल रहा था, इसको इंटरनेशनल कॉन्स्पिरेसी है, ये भारत को अपराधी स्थान में रखने का एक साजिश है बोल के मैं पहला दिन से बोल रहा हूँ।
ಸರ್ ನೋಡಿ, ಅವ್ರು ಯಾರು ಅಂತ ನನಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ಅವ್ರು ಯಾರು ಹೆಂಗೆ ಏನು ಅಂತಾನೆ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. ಬಟ್ ನನಗೆ ಈಗ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮುಖಾಂತರನೇ ನನಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಿದ್ದು, ನೀವು ಕ್ಲಿಪ್ ತೋರ್ಸಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಅವ್ರು ಹಿಂಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾವ್ರೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಿದ್ದು. ಅವ್ರು ಯಾರಂತಾನೂ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ನನಗೆ ಅದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ.
ಸರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ವಿಡಿಯೋ ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ಸರ್ ಏನಂತ ಮಾತಾಡಿದಾರೆ ಸರ್?
ಅದೇನೋ ಅರಬಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳವ್ರೆ ಅವರು, ಬಟ್ ನನಗೂ ಅದು ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. ಅದೇನೋ ವೆಲ್ಕಮ್ ಮಗಳಿಗೆ ಬೇರೆ ವೆಲ್ಕಮ್ ಅಂತ ಆಡ್ಕೊಂಡವ್ರು ಅವ್ರು ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಅಂತೆ, ಯಾರೋ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಕೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು. ಬಟ್ ಅದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನನಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಸರ್.
ಈ ಥರ ಪ್ರಶಂಸನೆ ಕೇಳಿದಾಗ ಏನು ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ?
ತಪ್ಪು ಸರ್, ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಗೊಂದಲ ಮಾಡಿ ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ತಂದು ಹಾಕಕ್ಕೆ ಜಗಳ ಆಡೋಸಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು. ನಾನು ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ ಇವೆಲ್ಲ ಬೇಕಾಗಿಲ್ಲ ಇವೆಲ್ಲ.
All right, moving on, a shocker coming in right now from Jammu and Kashmir, where a young girl from the majority Hindu community was beaten in school for wearing a tilak to school. The headmaster has suspended the particular teacher. The family of the Hindu girl alleged that their daughter was thrashed in a school by the teacher for wearing a tilak. The teacher, Nisar Ahmed, allegedly hit the girl for coming to school wearing a tilak. The girl put on the tilak during puja at her home on the occasion of Navratri. The government has suspended the accused teacher after accusations of assault.
तिलक लगाने के ऊपर अगर उस्ताद ने इतना बड़ा एक्शन ले लिया और अगर स्कूल में से आप बच्चियों को पूछे किस ढंग से बोलता है, किस तमीज से, कौन सी वो भाषा लैंग्वेज इस्तेमाल कर रहा है सर, तो हमारी ये नहीं है कि मेरी बच्ची के कल ऐसे ही कोई और टीचर बोलेगा जी ये हिजाब क्यों पहन के आते हो, नकाब क्यों पहन के आते हो, तो सर इस पर कानूनी कार्रवाई होनी चाहिए और हर डिपार्टमेंट हर जो बच्चियों वाला है उसकी तरफ से इस पर एक्शन होना चाहिए, क्योंकि बेटी तो बेटी है, हर एक की बेटी है।
All right, moving on. Now, the GMR Hyderabad International Airport is all set to begin with the first phase of the development of the expanded terminal. Now, the project is first of its kind under the public-private partnership model in the country as one of the fastest-growing airports in India. Hyderabad International Airport has been catering to 21 million passengers. The airport now embarks on a major expansion to cater to the rising demands in passenger traffic and augment the passenger handling capacity beyond 34 million people.
Post-COVID reopening, Rajiv Gandhi International Airport of Hyderabad is planning massive expansion. We are at the new part of Hyderabad International Airport, and here massive facility has been created. Now, while the airport will have more numbers of aerobridge, it will have static airlines parking, airplane parkings also. A total of 93 parking of airplanes will be created. Apart from that, the GMR group which handles the airport is preparing to handle 34 million passengers per year from this airport. With camera person Damodar, Ashish in Hyderabad for India Today. Rajiv Gandhi International Airport is witnessing high passenger inflow, and that has made the company GMR, which manages the international airport, to expand the airport and its facility. Currently, the airport was handling 12 million passengers per annum. Now, the expansion plan is to make this airport capable to handle 34 million passengers per annum. We are standing in one such expansion project. This is 600-meter long tunnel created under three active taxiways. So, The idea behind this tunnel is to, without disrupting the air traffic movement, one passenger movement can be taken through this tunnel. Apart from these tunnels, several other facilities are created across the Hyderabad International Airport, which will allow one easy passenger access and traveling experience. With camera person Damodar, Ashish in Hyderabad for India Today. 2012 to 2022. Massive expansion plan 2012 when this airport came into existence. So what are the new expansion and new facility we can expect here in this new terminal?
No, as per a part of expansion plan 12 million to 34 million, we are tripling the capacity of the terminal. So we are planning almost 228,000 square meters of building. And second thing is, as you know, such a massive expansion cannot, because it's a running airport, it's not this thing. So it's a lot of challenges for us. So however, we decided, because to ensure the passenger convenience point of view, we have to do that. As you know that we did temporary terminals like a departure for international, arrival for domestic. So why? Because to make sure that passenger convenience is our most motive for us. This expansion will ensure the cater the needs of the passenger experience.
Till when we can expect this terminal being open for the passengers?
So these wells are ready today. It takes some time to merge because they do readiness and all operation point of view. Construction part is complete. No operation part is ready. Maybe we expect to be a month time will open for public.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, viewers, let's go into a quick break. When we return, it's our Fact Check segment. Welcome back. You're watching our Fact Check segment where we bust certain claims masquerading to be facts on social media platforms and WhatsApp groups. Now, there's a claim floating about suggesting that Cabinet Minister Smriti Irani called the fuel price hike Prime Minister's masterstroke against the rich. The fact check on that, it's incorrect. The video is doctored. Ms. Irani said nothing like this. With this quick check, time for us to go into a quick break. To stay with me on the other side is To The Point.